Hello everyone, I'm Tyler from Tyler Talks Books, and Merry Christmas! Also, welcome to my first tag video. I was sort of tagged by Lindsay Ray. She tagged everybody born in 1992. So, you could call this a response video or something. But, happy surprise video. Wasn't gonna do one until next Monday. So, let's get started. How do I discover new books to read? Well, a lot of my new books to read come from friend recommendations. Like, Sanderson sort of came from there, between that and writing excuses and stuff. Then, the Percy Jackson series definitely came from friend recommendations. I have a friend who's very excited about that whole series and loves it. And then, there's several on my TBR too that also came from friend recommendations. Basically, friend that talks loudest about it, I might just end up reading that book because they're so hyped about it. Next, how did I get how did I like start reading? Well, I mean, from a very young age, mostly for me. Like, my mom read to me when I was younger and encouraged me to read. And I started reading and I started loving it. And early elementary school, I found the Magic Treehouse series, and the rest is pretty much history in that regard. Because, yeah, the Magic Treehouse series, to date, I think I've read more of those books than I have any. Yeah, well, no. Actually, the second. There's another series I've read more of, and I'll get to that in a moment. Um, I, in fact, has my taste in books changed? I'll get to that here, I guess. Well, it started out with historical fiction, mostly, Magic Treehouse, and there was some other stuff, a little bit of fantasy. I started reading Harry Potter in elementary school, and then in middle school, like, I'd always been a Star Wars fan, but in middle school I started reading a lot of sci-fi books too, but not like eventually got to Star Wars books, but it started out, William Slater, a book called Galaxorina. Can't remember any other authors really off the top of my head, but I enjoyed them and they were good. And then, and especially in like late middle school and like all of high school, I just like read. I think I've read over 50 Star Wars books, which is the biggest series I've read. It's got more books than the other ones that I could have read more of. If I haven't, I might actually do a series on Star Wars books at some point. It's possible, but basically, I read a ton of Star Wars books, and some good, some bad. And then, basically, now I read less Star Wars. I still read a lot of sci-fi and fantasy, and those genres are so huge that you can kind of get anything in them. And then, on top of that, I have been thinking about other genres, like haven't really, I guess I still haven't really tried them very much, but they're like the horror genre. I'm thinking about Dan Wells specifically. That's one of the books on my TBR. I'm not a serial killer. Like, often do I buy books? That one varies a lot. Sometimes it's one or two a month. Sometimes it's less than that. Sometimes more than that. Sometimes Black Friday happens, or I haven't bought a book in a while, and I just kind of am like, I want to buy this series, or all of these books I want to read, and buy them. So, there's that. The next one is, how did I get into BookTube? My friend, actually this same friend who likes Percy Jackson series, also has started a BookTube, and she got me into BookTube. She likes BookTube, I like BookTube. I started watching it, found, Perseus Project, Lindsay Ray. I was like, hey, I could talk about books. I like talking about books. Could be fun conversation starters. So, that's why I started this. The next one is, have you ever peeked at the end of a book to see the ending, to see if it's a happy ending? Answer, I mean, I might have at some point. Yeah, I did once, I confess, in Way of Kings, just to see, like, do Dalinar and Kaladin really meet up? Or something like that. Like, I had to know, but, like, usually no. Because I don't like to be surprised. Actually, no, I love to be surprised by books. And I don't want to know anything about the ending, like, at any cost, pretty much. Until I get there. So no, I don't peek at the end of books to see if it's a happy ending or not. And what do I do if I don't like the end of a book? Um, Usually I just don't like the book in general. And there's a movie I remember where I don't remember what it's called. I want to say it's like no, it's not Nick Cage. It's somebody else that's in it. But anyway, it ends where like half the movie was a dream. I just like hate the whole movie just for that purpose, just because of that. So yeah, I usually just end up not liking the whole thing in general. And then finally, who will I tag? Well, I'm going to tag Caitlin Likes Books, who you can also find at Caitlin Games over on Twitter. And Merry Christmas, and well, without further ado, I will see you next time.